Hey guys, I'm David Green here with David Green and Associates, and I am at the office of Augusta Warrior Project. As most of you know, this is a military community, and one of the ways that we at David Green and Associates want to be involved in that community is giving back, whether it's time, finances, things of that nature. And so my good friend here, Joy Barr, who I've known 15, 20 years, is on staff here at Augusta Warrior Project. And so I wanted to bring one specific item to light that Augusta Warrior Project obviously helps with, which there are many items, but one is in particular. As some of you know, some of you don't know, there really is an epidemic in our country where 22 active duty or non-active duty soldiers commit suicide every day. 22. So in the time that you go to work from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night, that's 8 hours, there have been 8 servicemen or women that have committed suicide at some time in this country today. And so just again wanting to somehow bring light to that, shed light to that, and then some of the ways that you can help maybe stop some of those things. They're really simple. So again, Augusta Warrior Project, and I'm going to let Joy talk here in just a second. Full-time staff member here. We're out their office here at 701 Green Street. It's a great place. But anyway, Joy, kind of share with us what Augusta Warrior Project is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I have known you since you had hair, right?
That's right. A long time ago when I had hair.
And so the Augusta Warrior Project, we are a local organization. We're not affiliated with any other veteran organizations. We work collaboratively with a lot of organizations locally, but we're completely, locally funded, ran, and our mission, everything is right out of this office.
So you are not tied into Wounded Warrior Project or Athens Warrior Project, or it's Augusta Warrior Project. Okay.
Correct. And so it was an organization that was started right here in town by local folks 10 years ago. And the mission is to help veterans, active duty service members, and their families mitigate crisis, okay, and be able to transition from active duty service to a healthy civilian life.
What are some ways that you guys specifically get involved in lives of people?
So we actually, there are 12 of us who work here full time, and we're present in about 5 or 6 different locations at all times. Okay. So we've got folks that are present at the Croc Center, mm-hmm, on Broad Street, Goodwill, mm-hmm, Aiken Tech, and actually out on Fort Gordon. And so we interface with veterans where they are. We have walk-ins here downtown. And then obviously through referrals, through our partnering, just different agencies. The VA, okay, will send us referrals. Folks like yourself, when you run into, right, a veteran who's in crisis, then you make a referral to us, and our advocates actually walk with them from, initial contact through completion. So rather than them calling in and us go, the issue is housing, mm-hmm, we don't refer them to someone else. We actually walk with them through that process. So rather than just giving them a list of phone numbers to call.
So say, for example, I know someone, a friend of mine that's, either retired or active duty, going through some issues, emotional issues, financial issues, whatever. We can refer them to you, and then you make that phone call. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So either the veteran can call us, mm-hmm, themselves, or we'd be more than happy to reach out to them. But to give you an example and to kind of tie in what you were talking about earlier, when you and I met last week, that very day, we had received a referral from a local school who had a veteran student there who had, very sadly committed suicide. And so working with that family, they made the referral to us, and And so we're working with them to just navigate what life is going to be like for that family now, and
Right.
to help them as best we can.
Huh. So again, so there's all kind of ways to be involved. There's all kind of ways to help. Obviously, financially, which we'll get to that in a second. What is another way someone like me or someone watching this video right now can get involved with the Augusta Warrior Project?
So because we are a local organization, we really rely heavily on professional volunteers. So 92% of our funding goes to the veterans programming.
Okay.
And so we really run on a shoestring budget. And so having folks who can either volunteer for specific projects, be it an event, or they're going to help with grant writing, things that have a definitive beginning and end, or come in, on a weekly or monthly basis on a certain schedule. We have several volunteers, for example, one who currently does callbacks with veterans who are looking for employment.
Okay.
And so she reaches back out to them to find out, have they, to just make that point of contact with them. Are you still looking? Where are you looking? What can we help with? And then she makes that referral back to the veteran advocate. So it's just a way to take a function of our job, and that's how we're able to keep so much of that funding going directly to the veterans. So.
I know you said in a conversation we were having earlier, which I thought this was interesting, you actually have someone here that helps folks with writing resumes.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's not just, again, someone looking for a job. Obviously, that's important. But, I mean, you help folks try to write the resume to get that job.
Oh, absolutely.
I know when we were talking earlier as well about the young lady whose husband committed suicide. There's so much involved with what she needs to do, everything from death benefits to. You don't just tell her what to do, you actually bring someone in and do it for them.
Correct.
Is that right?
So we either, whatever is applicable for them.
Okay.
So, it's making the phone call with the veteran to the VA to set an appointment to look at those benefits. It's more of it's a holistic view of helping them through whatever the crisis is back to health. And so when we use the word crisis, there are those ultimate crises like death,
Right.
and homelessness, joblessness, major health implications. But it's also a crisis just to transition. If you've been in active duty and a leader in your field and excelled in your field, and you've been there for 32 years, and now you're going to transition out of that active duty service to civilian life, but maybe you've never compiled a resume because military life doesn't
Right.
work like that, and you've not picked out your own clothes, and
Right.
you've never sat for a job interview. And so while that isn't a financial crisis, it's still just a huge transition. And so, it is super broad, but the truth is we help all veterans from any era, wounded or not,
Okay.
and their families. And so whether you're currently serving, you've ever served, or the family member of an active duty service member or a veteran, we want to help you be in the most healthy place that you can be, and as opposed to being like an entitlement, you have earned this. And
Absolutely.
that's what we want to convey to the veterans and to the community. Veterans don't want to be seen as wholly broken.
Correct.
But you have earned this to be aided in this transition.
Absolutely.
Having written that blank check to your country.
Right. I know also in a conversation the other day you were telling me a story about a lady who they're obviously have retired from the service. Long story short, had a hole in her floor. Can you just expound upon that and the situation with her husband as well? What she
Absolutely, and she shared her story publicly,
Okay.
and so. And I also want to say that, there are tons of veterans that we don't ever talk about what's going on in their situation, and that's great and that's fine. And then we have veterans who do want to share. And so Sheila Carter works here downtown, and she served in the Army, and She and her husband had been renting a home. It was sold, and so they had to move rather quickly. And so they bought a piece of foreclosed property in the Harrisburg neighborhood,
Okay.
and it needed a large amount of renovations. But it was what they could afford, and so they made the purchase. And in that process, they really started having some health struggles, and it took a while to figure out. And unfortunately, her husband was diagnosed with early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. So less than 50 years old, and now they have this life-changing diagnosis. So she's still working full-time. She's caring for him. They're walking through this diagnosis, and she, presently had a huge hole in her kitchen, dirt to kitchen. So one of her coworkers just kept employing her, please reach out to the Augusta Warrior Project, and she was a little resonant, which is normal for veterans, so self-sufficient. But she did, and we were able to connect her to resources. Going back to that volunteering, we connect her to a group of church gentlemen who do home renovations, and so they came out. We were able to get the supplies that she needed and get her kitchen back to a working situation so she can continue to work, take care of herself and her husband.
Right.
So,
That's important so that she's able to continue working and then continue to be a caregiver.
That's exactly
for
right.
her husband. So there's so many things as I'm getting into what Augusta Warrior Project does. There's so many needs, but there's so many ways to help. And you can't really put them all on a 5-minute video. So what we're going to do now is just talk about a little bit about just sponsorship and how you can sponsor. So I know, and I'm looking at here, there's all kind of ways to contribute financially. Say someone says, I don't have a whole lot of time, but I could give $20, $25 a month. But even then, I don't want to write a check. Is there a way that can all be set up where it can automatically be debited from a checking account?
Absolutely. And so obviously we want to make it as easy as possible for people to give. One of the things that I like to stress, because Augusta, there are more nonprofits per capita in Augusta than apparently, anywhere else on the planet. But I think of that as a good thing. I think of us as a highly giving community, a very compassionate community. And so the truth is, we don't need everyone to contribute. We can meet the needs of our veterans with, the right formula of less than 3,000 people. And so, it's that that common scenario when you're at church and they say, okay, we need somebody to help in nursery, and who is somebody? And so really what we're asking for is 3,000 specific people to make that commitment so we can continue to help those in crisis. So obviously you can give at any level, but we've got corporate sponsorship all the way up to $22,000, $10,000, individual sponsorship at $1,000, and you can give any amount monthly.
Okay. So kind of wrapping this up, I just want to issue a challenge to anyone that's watching this video now to become a partner, a financial partner. Again, look, $10 a month. I mean, that's one meal for me at Salsa's. For Lena, it's a couple of Starbucks. For Joy, I'm not sure lipstick for Joy. But $10 a month. I mean, again, $20 a month. Those are things that easily you and I can do, as well as giving some time and things like that. One of the things we're going to do at David Green and Associates is in October, sometime in later October, at our office there at 3633 Wheeler Road. It's in the Atrium Building in the parking lot. We're going to do a hamburger hot dog cookout. And basically you will be able to come by, have some lunch, and all we're asking for you is to donate something financially, donate some money. If it's $2, if it's $5, if it's $10, whatever. There'll be a spot there set up. You will be able to meet some folks that have been benefited by the Augusta Warrior Project. You'll be able to meet some other folks here that work full-time, and this is an area that we're going to start really promoting with David Green and Associates, because it's something, again, that we truly believe in. It. We all have I've had family, you know, I have a grandfather that served in World War II. My father, my brother were both in the Army. I mean, so we all know someone that has served at some point in their life. And this is just, again, a way we can just give a little bit back of what we've been blessed with. So there'll be more details with that on an exact date in later October. But is there anything in closing that you want to say about Augusta Warrior Project? Where, for example, where can people find you on the web or something, phone number, something like that?
So you can find us at www.augustawarriorproject.org. We have a Facebook page under the same name, and you can, you know, there's a donation button that pops up right away, and we actually utilize a local organization. It's an extremely secure website, and you can set up either a one-time gift, you can set up a recurring gift there. If you wanted to make a gift in honor or memory of someone, you can do that. And so you'll see there's a few different options, you know, and then you can just leave a note if it's something specific. And so, you know, it's super easy to set up either that one time or the recurring gift.
So Facebook, Augusta Warrior Project,
Yep.
and again, you can actually give there.
Absolutely.
So here's a challenge. If you're going to like and share this video, only do it if you're going to donate something now, whether it's a one-time gift or whether you're going to start as a partnership. That's something that's between you and your spouse, your family, whatever, what you're going to do. But I only want you to like and share this if that's something that you're actually going to do. And again, it's very simple. You can go online. Again, Augusta Warrior Project, Facebook page. Again, like she said, it's a local kiosk where you can, it's very secure. You can give and you can start setting up a one-time, again, donation or a monthly donation. So, Joy, thank you for taking the time to meet with us and do this video. Again, be on the lookout for a little more information about our cookout coming soon. Thanks.
Thank you.